I think first you got to talk about Coach Dooley and what he's done in his second year. That team, reminds me a lot of our team last year. Tough-minded kids that play really hard. Now, obviously, they got one of the premier scorers in the league, one of the premier players in the league in Gardner. They've mixed in some older guys, some freshmen. They play with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. They've really, really improved defensively. Now, they had to play a lot of zone against us today. But, they just beat Temple. They lost at Memphis by 4 or 3. Took Cincinnati to overtime. They're good. They're so much better. Now, you guys got to remember, as I said early in the year, they had a bunch of guys banged up. So their record doesn't indicate the progress that program's made, which is great for our league. Because we're getting better, they're getting better. Teams that haven't been as good are all getting better, and that's only going to bode well for the future of our league. When you think about the last 7 days, right now it's 9:40 in the evening. We were just taking off from Tampa last week, 1 week ago today, to fly into Wichita. Give our guys a lot of credit. That was a tough 7-day stretch. No days off, 3 games. 3 physical, hard-fought games, and we figured out a way at the end there in the last 8 minutes in winning time to dig down and get the stops and make some key baskets, make some key extra passes, some key free throws. So a lot of credit goes to the toughness and the character of our guys. And we didn't play great in stretches, and then in other stretches we played really, really well. So you take that win and you move on, and you got 3 left before the tournament.
Your defense, you mentioned Gardner was a half hour of game time before he even got to the line.
Yeah, we did. He's a great scorer now, and I thought there was probably 5 possessions in the second half where we didn't push up into him enough. But the one thing that we were able to do, we turned him into more of a perimeter player. He hit all jump shots. There was only 2 baskets around the basket, and because he was on the perimeter, he didn't get any offensive rebounds. And he's good enough. He's still going to get 19 on you. But we forced him into 15 shots, and we forced him into 3 turnovers. We just figured that was our best chance. At times throw a double team at him, but he's going to get 20. We had to make him work for. That was. I didn't think in the game 1 that we made him work enough, and I thought today we did. It was only a 5-point difference, in terms of his total points, but I thought it was a harder 19 today. And our effort on the glass was tremendous.
Especially offensively.
Yeah, so, you get 17 offensive rebounds. We always talk about, playing with great intensity and great energy. Offensive rebounds is a key stat in that. You always kind of look at it and see. Now, if some teams can do that, but they don't send as many guys to the glass. We're sending more to the glass to try to create some offensive opportunities for us. We got, again, one of our Achilles' heels is 17 offensive rebounds. We got to get more than 12 second chance points, but none bigger than Justin Brown's, at the end, and sealed the game for us.
Coach, talk about the concerted effort to go to Michael Durr inside.
So about, right before we made the trip, got with Mike and he had gotten 3-4 shots in the previous couple games, and I just said we got to get you the ball more. But our thing is, with that comes the responsibility of you have to produce, but you have to work harder to get the ball too. And I think in the last 3 games he's averaging, just at 10 shots a game now, almost 10 shots a game. But man or zone, we wanted to get it in there. We wanted to make their posts work defensively. They do a good job of fronting the post, so you got to get to the second side, and we were able to do that. And it didn't start off too good because we got him a layup, and he got the ball swiped off his hands. But he stuck with it, and again, sometimes you forget because he's played so many minutes. It's just a sophomore, But he was tremendous, 5 offensive rebounds, and you got to remember now, he didn't play 1 possession of defense where he wasn't defending Gardner. So that puts a lot on the plate of a sophomore. You know what I mean? And he did a tremendous job. Maybe his best all-around game, other than the bounce pass against the zone to Q.
Coach, you mentioned yesterday of the 2 games last week, you guys played maybe 60 complete minutes out of 80. What was your rate tonight as?
Well, you know, it's funny. There were stretches where we played better in both those games than we did today. You know what I mean? There was a couple things today. We make some hustle plays and get some loose balls and you know, falling out of bounds or kick it out, and they get. I was sitting there saying that, you know, can we catch a break right now? You know, and we just kept at it and we caught it. You know, out of the 80 minutes last week, you know, the only time I didn't think we played good against Wichita State was the last 5 minutes. Against UConn, probably the last 7 minutes. You know, today there was a couple stretches where we didn't execute as well on some of our defensive principles. We gave up some second chance points. We gave up some drives because we got stretched. You know, again, offense for us right now still kind of comes and goes. We got good looks at the basket. We got the same looks in overtime that we did previous, you know, in the regulation. In overtime, I think we go 3 for 5 from the 3. You know, so we just got to keep producing good shots and just got to keep believing that they're going to go in. But I thought, you know, in all things considered, today was a pretty good day. I thought we played pretty well.
Coach X had 6 rebounds,
Yep.
4 assists. He also, the one big shot
Yeah.
was the 3, and you never trailed again.
Yeah, that was, you know, he's 0 for 4 at that point, you know what I mean? And maybe didn't play as well offensively in the first half, I thought, but kind of just stuck with it, you know. And he did some, like I said, he did some other things. The 6 defensive rebounds were big for us, because a lot of times when you're playing them, especially with Gardner, is the guy who's guarding him, he has just cutout responsibilities. He doesn't have to go get the rebound. He just got to make sure that kid doesn't get it. And so now your guards have to do a good job. And you know, I thought X did. You know, you look at David Collins with 5 defensive rebounds, Castaneda with 6, LaQuincy with 3. You know, from your guard spot, 14 defensive rebounds is pretty good. Pretty good.
When those clutch shots start falling, especially this time of year, maybe it just takes a little bit to get a team going. The shots fell tonight at a critical juncture. What can that do for you guys?
Well, you know, hopefully it builds a little confidence. You know, in the UConn game, our offensive efficiency was off the chart. It's the highest it's been all year long. You know what I mean? So I didn't expect to come in here at home and not shoot as well. But as you said, you know, this is a time where you challenge the team. We need to play our best team basketball of the season. And then you drop it down one level and say each of you have to play your best basketball of the year. And as I said yesterday to you guys, you know, in the last 7 games, we've played our best 7-game stretch other than the first 20 minutes against Tulsa. And that was on one side of the ball. Defensively, we were really good. You know, as I said, the first half against Tulsa, their shooting percentage was the same as ours. The difference was we had 13 turnovers in the first half. You know, so we are playing our best basketball. Now, we got some individuals that I still, you know, we need them, you know, to play better for us to take another step as this season, you know, comes to a close with the last 3 games of the conference slate.
You guys, you know, going back to the rebounds, plus 11 tonight. You know, just what have you learned about your team from the beginning of the season to now in terms of rebounding? Because they've progressed a lot.
Yeah, I think a big thing, you know, for us, sometimes, you know, everybody does it. You also look down the road, you know, and it's going to be a big point of emphasis for us in the future, in particular even next year, in terms of sending more guys to the offensive glass. Because I think we could be just a phenomenal rebounding team. You know what I mean? Because we're pretty good right now. We're pretty good right now, and we're missing, you know, our best rebounder. You know, but what you have to do now, those other guys are getting better because of that, you know, and you know, Mike Durr needs to be an 8 to 11 rebound guy night in and night out, and I think he's more than capable of doing that, and he needs to be at that, you know, 12 to 17 point range as well. So learn that if you rebound offensively and keep them off the offensive glass, you got a great chance to win a lot of games if you can defend, which is what we do.
Coach, the last 4 games and on the stretch, you were chasing a lot of games, and especially Houston and Tulsa, you worked so hard to get back, but you can't finish out. Tonight you chased the game, but you finish it out this time. You think it's a turning point as far as the team's mental resilience?
Yeah, that's a good point. Let's hope so. Let's hope so. You know, as I said, one of the greatest qualities that you can have when you're building a program is resiliency, and the guys kind of just keep coming back at it. You know, and even with the disappointments of those games, and to be down 7 today, and to not cave in and just to, you know, fight and figure out a way. Let's hope it acts as a springboard for these next few games that we have coming up.
Everybody else, okay?